Wait, Cujo's Stephen King? What? Generic intro and the Doc Goes Moo here, back with another kill count. Today we're doing one video and it's going to be Cujo, which I don't know if they've ever made a sequel to Cujo. I've never seen Cujo, I've never seen clips of Cujo. I just know it's about like a vicious dog or something like that attacks people or things. I don't know. It's from 1983. That's 14 years before I was born. I just know that whenever my dad would like see a dog that's like kind of trying to look vicious or something, like growling, be like, oh, you call it Cujo. And I was like, okay, Cujo. It's like a mean dog or something like that. But last week's video was all three of the Predator kill counts that were out at the time with Predator, Predator 2, and Predators. You can check out my reaction to that. I'll leave it right up there. Also, the link down below in the description. Also, in a place on my channel with all of my other kill counts going to chronological order if you want to binge watch through all of them, which is pretty much a lot of movies I've never seen before, so it's my first time being introduced to them, and James' comedy just really gets me. I really enjoy the jokes that James comes up with, but this is gonna be Cujo, and then I think next week we're gonna start Halloween with Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. Never seen a single one of the Halloween movies, so that's gonna be interesting, and then we should do all the Halloween movies, and then I think we'll do like some of the like Sunny Family, I want to say. Yeah, the look scene, the Sunny Family cult, that'll happen after the Halloween, so if you're watching the playlist, that will come next. But shout out to the patrons. They got all the videos a day early, and I could not do this if it was not for them, so shout out to them, and I hope you're subscribed. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and it's going to be very close to get it before the end of the year, so I hope that you are subscribed, and hopefully this video can make your day time a little better. But let's go ahead and jump into Cujo. Alright, we have the Cujo time. I've never seen this movie.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tell
Also, he didn't put the disclaimer in this.
Movies. I'm James
Why?
A. Janice, and today, August 26th, is apparently National Dog Day in the U.S., so fuck it. Let's look at Cujo, the most famous killer dog of all.
It's coming up on 5 years.
Movie based on the Stephen King novel. Cujo is a real simple, real Stephen King story. Half of the movie is about a marriage
Cujo's Stephen King?
The other half has perennial 80s mom Dee Wallace and her crying kids stuck in a car with a rabid dog outside.
Oh, is it a rabid dog?
But that's not to say it's a bad movie. Sure, if you're only into hardcore horror, the
like
melodramatic first act may bore you, but director Louis Teague and DP Jan de Bont shot it real well and built up a nice emotional connection to these characters, even with Donna Trenton's infidelity. Plus, there's a memorable score by composer Charles Bernstein, who did the music for Nightmare on Elm Street, and you get to watch a bunch of solid dog acting. Animal trainer Carl Miller worked with a Saint Bernard named Mo and between 4 and 9 other pooches to get the shots they needed, along with an occasional puppet and a dude dressed in a dog suit. All of this comes together in an adaptation that Stephen King himself is a big fan of, and for our purposes, it's got a few kills in it to count. Let's find out how many and get to them.
It's a rabid dog, which, I mean, it's super sad. Rabies
The movie begins with the little bunny Fufu hopping through the forest, getting chased by Cujo, who wants to make him dead. At this point, Cujo is still just a regular old playful
Is that how he
Saint
gets
Bernard,
rabies or
with
something?
nothing wrong about him besides the lack of a barrel full of brandy around his neck. That all changes after the rabbit he's chasing escapes into a burrow and Cujo pops his head in thinking there's an open house going on. Instead, he finds a bunch of Zubats. Zubats everywhere. Who swarm him when he barks, with one of them biting him on the nose. And that, my friends,
I thought most rabid animals are on their own.
Story. Time to meet the Stephen King kid character of this movie, little Tad Trent.
Is he
He's
psychic?
so afraid of monsters in his closet that he can't even manage the old turn off the light and run technique.
Hopefully I don't
so he
have
has
to blur
his parents
anything.
Donna and Vic come in to help comfort him to bed. They do so and share one of those Stephen King colloquialisms that he just loves to give his characters.
Overdone with gone, right?
The next morning, over a bowl of sugar and a non-killer dog on the TV, the Trenton family gets a visit from local beard grower Steve Kemp, who I guess is fixing up their table and wooden horses for them. Tad gets excited about a cereal commercial because apparently his dad Vic came up with the ad campaign. This Bill Nye looking professor who says the product is healthy for you.
No, nothing wrong.
Was that in the 80s
It's
or
apparently
90s?
a successful campaign, but I think a stuffy old professor would make the worst spokesman for a kid's cereal. I'll tell you someone else who wasn't impressed by that cereal.
Is that a trombone?
The egghead endorsement. Donna, since it turns out she's cheating on Vic with Steve Kemp. Sorry, Vic, but maybe you wouldn't be getting cucked if you had come up with something better, like the Cookie Crisp dog. Cookie Crisp. Fun
Dude,
fact,
Cookie
though,
Crisp,
Steve was played
so
by
underrated.
Hugh Wallace's husband at the time, Christopher Stone. So in reality, this is a married couple. Sadly, Stone died in 1995 of a heart attack. Rest in
that's
peace.
sad.
Vic's having issues with his car, so he tries to take it into the local Castle Rock mechanic. When that guy's too busy for him, Vic has to drive all the way out to another mechanic, Joe Kamer, who lives a few miles out of town. He takes the whole family with him, and after he introduces himself to Joe, title dog Cujo rolls all up into the scene, just jowling his way towards the Trentons and Joe's son Brett, who assures them that Cujo's a nice, friendly dog who wouldn't hurt a fly. Yeah, I mean, even if that is true though, maybe don't stick your face in that dog's face, kid. Especially because his nose has got a nasty herpes-looking sore where that bat is. Ew. That night, night, good Dad Vic
That's
goes
not
around
good.
Tad's room and expels all the monsters from inside the closet and under the bed. Sorry, Howie Mandel. Even Donna can see that Vic is Dad
What?
of the Year material, but unfortunately, he's about to run into some problems at work.
Nope. Nothing wrong here.
Well, that's not entirely true.
I love that news broadcast. Turns out the
that
guy
transition.
in that cereal was making people poop red, and thousands
Ugh.
went to the hospital thinking they were bleeding out their butts. Now there's a recall going on, which is almost as bad
Why?
for Vic's look as that square end tie he's wearing.
Did they
While
not
Vic is putting out
test
fires
it?
at work, Donna heads over to the saddest bachelor pad in Castle Rock and wakes up Steve so she can tell him that the affair is over.
Jesus, I don't know. I got this terrific husband and this terrific kid, and here I am screwing
Saying
around
that to
with
her
someone
husband.
instead.
It's
When
crazy.
she leaves his
Oof.
house, he chases after her, and that's when Vic happens to be driving
look at
by,
that
so
thing.
he sees them having an argument in the street by her car. Confusing thing to see on the side of the road, but when he doubles back to get a better look, the incriminating situation
It gets worse.
dissipated. Don't worry now, Vic, you ain't crazy, except a crazy good dad. Keep that shit up, dog. After Donna picks up Tadley from kindergarten, they experience
front
some
seat?
issues with her Ford Pinto that her son just treats like a fun carnival ride. Hey, Donna, could be worse. Just be grateful that thing's not on fire.
Yeah,
right?
or
They
getting
get home,
rear-ended.
and Vic tries to casually ask her what she was up to that day, but she avoids telling the truth and making any eye contact with him. Suspicious. Later on, Vic tries to fix the Pinto himself, but he doesn't have any luck with it. Sounds like another job for Joe Camber. Speaking of which, back at his farm, the mechanic
This is
comes
about a
home to find
dog, right?
fancy new piece of equipment that he knows his family can't afford. Over dinner and a beer, his wife Charity breaks the good news to him.
I won the lottery.
Yep, the Camber family is $5,000 richer. I mean, probably more like 3.5 after taxes, but that's still enough money to take Cujo to the groomer.
In the 80s?
So, like, please do that, Camber family. Your dog is looking nasty.
Aw,
Charity wants to use
poor
the
boy.
money to visit her sister out of state, which Joe is just fine with.
Also,
He's
I
got
tried
his own
A1
lottery
sauce
plans that he
a
makes
couple-
with his
like,
next door
last
neighbor,
month.
Gary.
For the first time?
Booze, baseball.
Not for me.
I don't want to do it alone. It's no fun. Come on.
They plan their boys' night out with Cujo in the room, who's showing an increased sensitivity to noise, but neither of the dudes seem to notice. They still think he's the same old friendly dog he's always been.
You couldn't sick that dog on me if I was coming at you with a straight razor in each hand.
The next day, Steve Kemp visits
Whoa,
the Trent
whoa.
family home to ostensibly drop off more furniture, but in reality, he's there to sexually harass Donna and force himself on her in the kitchen. When she fights back against his advances,
Why is he
they end up
smiling?
spilling milk all over the floor, which normally
Spilled
wouldn't
milk.
be anything to cry over, but it happens to be right when Vic gets home. After
Uh-oh.
Steve leaves, Vic gets confirmation from Donna about his suspicions.
Yes or no?
Yes.
This is
Why does
either
she
a
kinda look
great
like
or an
Cersei
awful
Lannister?
time for Vic to have to leave town for 10 days. He's got to go to some business meeting about the blood
Dude,
coop cereal
that car.
incident. Before he leaves, he and Donna both express uncertainty about how to move forward after her affair.
I can't make that it never happened, Vic.
I can't make like it never happened either, Donna.
I know that.
With things still unresolved, he leaves town. Also leaving town is Charity and Brett Camber, off to visit
What are
Charity's
things going to
sister in
kick
Connecticut,
off?
and leave Joe to have some hangover-esque shenanigans with Gary. After they leave, Cujo marches from the horizon towards the home of Litterbug Gary, who's got his own personal trash dump out back behind his house. Even Gary can see that Cujo ain't looking right, so he tries to run away from the dog, only to get attacked on his back porch.
I've
He's
outrun
able to throw
dogs.
the dog off of him and get back inside his house, locking the door behind him and
pit
grabbing
bulls.
a gun off the wall of his extraordinarily messy home. But a screen door ain't gonna keep a
No, it's
rabid
not.
St. Bernard out, so Cujo busts through and attacks Gary again, doing a little dance
Ugh.
with him before he gets him on the ground with his
That's a
throat
big dog.
in his
That dog
mouth.
weighs
The dog gets vicious with the
over
nasty
100
trash
pounds.
man, and eventually kills him on his dirty, dirty floor. We get a better view of the body later after
the
Joe
tail.
pays Gary a visit and finds him lying on the floor
Oh.
covered in blood. Nice. Joe is scared shitless at the sight of his dead best friend and tries to call someone for help, but Cujo shows up.
Cujo's
all
like, who you
"I
calling?"
wouldn't do that if I were you. And Joe finally realizes that he's rabid, just in time for the giant dog to attack him and charge him in a first canine POV shot, then kill him off
Is
screen.
that-
Way to eat the
is
hand
that really how
feeds,
rabies
dude.
works?
Donna takes the Tadster with her as she heads to Joe Camber's place to get the Pinto fixed. And on the way, the car starts to exhibit even more mechanical issues. Hope y'all ready for like 40 minutes of dog barking, because after they park at the Camber place and Donna tries
just
to
be
help Tad
barking.
unbuckle his seatbelt, they're attacked through the window by a real
Oh,
nasty
whoa, whoa.
slobbering Cujo. Donna
Ew.
manages to roll up the window on
Oh,
Cujo
I
and get
remember
his
those
big old
kind of
hog
windows.
head out of the car and close her driver's side door just in time to stop him from getting inside. But now these two are trapped in their car with Tad crying up
Oh,
a
and they can't
goddamn
drive 'cause the
storm.
car's-
And that's where we'll be for the next forever, since that piece of shit Pinto refuses to start up. Honestly, it wouldn't
Yep.
be that bad of a situation, but this fucking kid won't stop wailing. Listen, Donna, you
But
gotta
in
show
dog
that kid
barking?
who's the boss. Although, to be fair to all his tears, Cujo has quickly become the straight nastiest dog I've ever seen in my
Aw.
life. He is no longer a good boy. Cujo watches
No.
them all through
Poor
dusk
boy.
and into the night. when
The way
Tad
they
has to
shoot it to
pee out
make
the car
Cujo
door.
look
Careful,
big.
kid. You don't want to lose anything there. there. Luckily, a phone starts ringing inside the house, and that gets Cujo real distracted and riled up because he can't stand
shut the door?
noise. He breaks open the window to get to it, but it stops ringing right before he can answer it. Man, don't you hate when that happens? Cujo does. Look at that angry fucker. Morning comes, and Cujo is still standing guard outside of Donna's Pinto.
Dude.
As dawn gives way to day, the inside of the car
it's gonna
heats
get
up,
so
and
hot.
Donna realizes
Couldn't they
that
just
they're
crack
down
the
to the
windows?
last bit of water they have on hand. She also notices a baseball bat on the ground nearby that could prove useful when it comes to killer dogs.
I might have to
Later,
blur
another phone
something.
call sends Cujo into a frothy rage, during which he smashes his head against the car and breaks off the inside door handle. That is one strong rabid dog, man. Shit, he even manages to break one of the car windows and straight up tear the outside door handle off with his mouth. At one point, after things have calmed down a bit, Donna tries to leave the car for that baseball bat, but Cujo is waiting for her and attacks her against the Pinto. She gets back into the car, but the big dog
does that mean that
follows her
she
inside,
has...
and there's a whole bunch of screaming and growling.
Yeah, rabies shots are not
Beats
fun.
at him with a water bottle,
Is this still
and he
how it
bites
was?
her in the leg. Eventually, she's able to get him out of the car and close the door again. Might want to get that cut wash pronto though, lady. Last thing you need is rabies. It'll leave your head spinning more than this insane camera movement that whips around inside the car like one of those carnival rides you control with the wheel inside. They're using like apples or strawberries or some shit.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about. On this farm adventure,
I get it
we've been
going on
checking in
this.
with
Like
Vic at his out-of-town meeting, where he keeps calling back
this
home
thing.
but never getting any answer. On the second night, he finally gets worried enough to tell his business partner that he has to head home because something must be wrong, and he can deal with the blood poop problem himself. Day 3 comes, and Donna wakes up to Tad hyperventilating in the car.
Do not tell.
Shit, that is not a face you want to see your kid making. And the dog isn't making anything better. Thanks a lot, Cujo. Donna eventually gets Tad.
How long
breathing
can an
again,
animal
but
have
clearly
rabies?
This is not a sustainable situation. Back at the Trenton home, Steve Kemp lets himself in and caresses some knife blades, making me real happy that Donna and Tad aren't home. Later, Vic comes home to find the place in disarray, the bedroom torn to shreds with feathers all over the place. He tells the Castle Rock PD that it must have been Steve Kemp, surmising that he kidnapped his family as well. When the cops ask about Donna's missing car, Vic tells them it's out at the Camber place for repairs, so Sheriff George Bannerman leaves to check it out, getting over there in no time. Shit, Cujo, it's 5-0. Better scram! When George parks,
wait, does he actually run away?
He sees the Pinto, and he's just about to radio
animals
it
with
in
rabies
when a noise lures him into the barn. Oh, he's one of those horror movie characters, huh? Cujo attacks him and knocks his gun out of his hands, so you know this guy's a goner. Cujo kills him after knocking him from the high ground and getting him on the barn floor, where he mauls him for a mow. The final fleshy terror leaves George in a gravity-defying death pose as Cujo turns his attention back towards the car. The cops tell Vic that they talked to Steve Kemp, and although he admitted to trashing the house, he said he never saw Donna or Tad. When the cop also mentions that they haven't heard back from Sheriff George yet, Vic takes it into his own hands to head out to the Camber place. Are we gonna have a last-minute daddy rescue? If so, he'd better get there soon, because Big Bad Tad is almost down and out from all this heat and dehydration. Donna finally decides it's time to get out and make a run for the baseball bat, which she gets to right as a very bloody Cujo runs up to her. She beats down on the dog, but since nobody wants to see a dog pummeled with a bat, rabbit or not, it's all done through clever camera movements, editing, and sound effects. Eventually, the bat breaks, leaving only a jagged little
that had to hurt her hands.
Ends up working out after Donna trips, and Cujo accidentally jumps right on top of it, getting impaled through his St. Bernard belly and apparently dying right on top of Donna until she rolls him off of her. She said, "Roll over, boy." Donna picks up the sheriff's gun and thinks about double tapping the deadly dog. But instead, heads back to the car and pistol whips the back windshield to break into it and free Tad. She takes her unconscious son inside the house and gives him some water and mouth to mouth. Eventually, resuscitating Tadpole back to life. But this is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last stand.
No way.
So Cujo jumps through the window, and turns on his heels to face down Donna and Tad with a mouthful of mange.
And
Donna
the dad's
grabs
gonna
the
show
nearby
up.
sheriff's gun and fires into the camera, killing Cujo off screen.
Oh, no,
and
she
for
actually
once,
did it?
I'll make an exception to the no dogs on the count rule. Because, come on,
Cujo.
freaking Cujo.
It's a name,
And it's National
namesake.
Dog Day. I don't want to be disrespectful. The movie ends with Vic pulling up to the Camber place and embracing his wife and son on the porch in a freeze frame. So how's it work out when you send a dog to do a killer's job?
4.
Let's find out and get to the numbers. Cujo?
All guys? Yeah, all guys. No, James.
There were 4 deaths in Cujo, 3 humans and 1 big ol' St. Bernard. All the victims were male, but
What is the pie chart gonna look like?
one of them was a dog, so I don't know. I have this pie chart. With a runtime
That pie,
of
wait a minute, that
19
pie
minutes,
chart,
you
that was
wound
not
up with a kill on
25%,
average
it was
every 23.25
skewed.
minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Gary, because it's when we first realize how deadly Cujo has become. And it's the most graphic death since we get to see the aftermath. Doll machete for lamest kill will go to Joe Camber, who's killed off screen after Cujo charges at him. And that's it. Cujo came out in 1983, just 2 years after King's novel, and was recently referenced in the new Hulu series Castle Rock, so that's fun. I'll be back to Halloween on Friday, but until then, I'm James Anjanese.
Halloween will be starting starting
kill
next
count.
week.
Thanks a lot for watching this extra kill count. I want to thank a couple of patrons like Connor Barrett, Jake
Shout out
Rawls,
to
Gary
patrons.
Story, and Mavis Van Poe. I put a lottery ticket in the background because of the whole lottery thing in the movie. Let's see if I won anything.
Did he?
Game 1. Nope. Game 2. Nope.
Oh.
Game 3. So I didn't win any of that. And then game 4. Nope. Okay. And then game 5.
poor James.
Nope. I won nothing. Also, this is Austin, a bat we bought in Austin, Texas. They have bats there. Bat good
The
people.
bridge. Yeah, I've been to Austin. I've actually been to that bridge. There's like a whole like what is it, colony of bats that live underneath the bridge, and every night they kind of like close the bridge down. Nobody gets on the bridge, and the bats kind of like swarm and fly around. It's actually kind of crazy. But yeah, no, Cujo. Rabies is something else. I believe it's one of the few diseases that has like a near, I think it's like a 99%. There's only, what is it? There's only been a handful of people that have had rabies and like survived, like full blown, like showing certain symptoms that have survived rabies. It's crazy to see because there's still people everywhere in the world suffering from rabies because of, you know, animals and stuff like that giving it to people from bitings and whatnot. They didn't show the aftermath of her though. I would imagine she got the care she needed, right? Because I guess she wasn't showing symptoms. I'm not really sure what the process is of rabies. As a Boy Scout, or grew up as a Boy Scout, we kind of learned stuff like that, but there were still adults for stuff like that because you're not gonna trust a bunch of kids with an animal bite, you know. But they're always like, hey, you see a wild animal, do not pet it, because if it bites you, you don't take the animal with you to get checked out, they're gonna assume it has rabies, and you're gonna get those rabies shots. And I believe it was like, I think they always said it was like 20-ish shots in your stomach, and it's like brutal. I want to say it's what it was. I think it's different now, and I could be completely wrong on that. So please let me know. I do read every single one of your comments. Leave them down below. We'll be starting the Halloween franchise next week with a doubleheader, Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. I've never seen any of those movies, so I'm going into completely blind outside of, I think Death Battles covered Michael Myers, I want to say. So it's going to be interesting. I hope to see you there. I hope your subscribers so close to 100,000 subscribers. But until next video, take care and cue the music.
We were playing as soldiers, making soldiers.